Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's James here. I hope you're doing okay. This is just kind of a brief intro to the video that I'm going to do. A few months ago, can't remember exactly when, but when I first got my Mars Hydro grow tent, I did a little video about sort of what I had in there, my basic setup. A couple of things have changed, so I wanted to do an update. I wanted to also show the growth, because there's a lot of growth that's happened. This is not my final review of this product, so if you didn't see the first video, that's fine. But I was sent a grow tent and a grow light by a company called Mars Hydro. I'll put all the information on the light and the tent down below, as well as the links to their eBay shops. Yeah, this is not my final review. So far, so good. So far, everything is amazing. I'm really enjoying using it, but obviously there are still things that I need to kind of try out, and I really am keen to see how it works over winter as well, because sort of in theory, I'm sure it's going to, in theory, it's an amazing idea for overwintering your plants, particularly if you can have it in a really, really well insulated place. But yeah, I just kind of want to see how it works. So before I give my full review, just a couple more months to see how it goes. So I do want to say that this is not arranged aesthetically. I think the whole point of this tent is not to have an aesthetic arrangement, because the sides are not transparent, you can't see. It's not like a display case or these IKEA cases that you see on Instagram, which is such a cool idea. It's not one of those. It's I'll put a screen, like a picture of what they look like from the outside here. So they are not, they have a reflective interior, they have a black outside with a little logo on and a zip front, as well as a bunch of little tube entries for ventilation, for whatever you need for extra lighting if you're going to link it up to multiple tents. So yeah, the arrangement that I have in there, you will see, is super chaotic and really, really messy. And that's kind of just because it's such a good environment for my plants that I've just crammed as much as possible in there. So what will probably happen over winter is that I will move some things in, some things out, depending on how hardy they are. And maybe I will even get another one of these, because yeah, the growth is just absolutely amazing compared to what I've been able to get in my general plant space, even over summer. I think that's everything. Sorry if it's a bit messy. I kind of after I did this, I actually cleaned it out, but it hadn't been cleaned for a couple of months. So there's lots of debris and dead leaves and stuff, but that's my fault. That's nothing to do with the product, obviously. You probably will notice that I kind of breezed over all the orchids I have in there, and that is intentional. I'm going to do a video on my orchids in a couple of weeks. The trials and tribulations. I don't think the grow tent is the best environment for them, but we'll talk about that as when we get to that video. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy. See you soon. Right, so we're going to get straight into it. Not much has changed since last time, apart from this fan, which is getting some air circulating through it, and the setting that I've got the light on. So I think last time I did a video of this, it was pointing up toward the 50. I had to drop it way, way down. And for some things, it's even still a little bit bright. You'll see as we go around, there are a couple of leaves that are showing some burning, but everything's looking sort of relatively okay. Like I said in the intro, it is so crowded. So yeah, yeah, it's very crowded, but that's only because it's such amazing growing conditions for my plants. So I'm kind of just stuffing everything in where it can go. And messy as it is, it kind of is. It's like my little indoor jungle, so I'm okay with it. So far, no pest issues in here, no mold since I added the fan either, so everything is happy, I think. If things start showing me that they are not, then I will obviously change things around. Okay, so I'm kind of going to breeze over the orchids. Some of them aren't doing super well. I don't think this grow tent is the best environment for them, but I'm also just going to do a separate orchid video to kind of talk through some of the ones that I have and why I like them and stuff like that. Look at that amazing leaf. Okay, we're going to jump straight into this. I'll start at the front and we'll kind of work back, and I have to move stuff out of the way. Also bear in mind that this is kind of my opportunity to clean this. It hasn't been cleaned in a month or so, so don't be surprised if there's a load of debris down on the floor, like leaves and bark and perlite and stuff. That's kind of why I'm taking everything out as well, so I can give everything a good wipe down. Okay, let's go. So we're going to start in this corner. Oh, there's some tape there. Boom. Right here we have Rhaphidophora cryptantha, which is kind of difficult. It's beautiful, but it's a little bit difficult to keep wet in this environment, particularly because I've stupidly placed it right underneath where the fan kind of comes down this wall. So it dries out the sphagnum really, really fast. I watered this day before yesterday. Oh, super squidgy. No, yesterday I watered it. And it still hasn't really rehydrated itself. The sphagnum is moist. So we'll see how this does. It was growing super, super well once I put it in here. So it kind of, all of this is quick growth since it's been in here, but I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I might have to move it back into my other greenhouse because it seemed happier there. Right down at the front here, we have, this is a Philodendron domesticum, a variegated Philodendron domesticum that I just recently cut. So you'll see some of the cuttings throughout the grow tent, but it's super pretty. It's got a cute, that's an okay-ish looking leaf. It had some really, really nice ones, but I have traded and sold a couple of them, so just a few are left. Really pretty, really easy plant as well. There's a thermometer down here which has fallen, just kind of trying to make sure I'm on top of the general temperature in here. I do have a heat mat underneath this part, so these plants in particular, kind of this little, I guess it's this quarter of the tent is a little bit warmer than the rest of it, so things tend to grow a little bit faster. Let's pull out this Aurea, Monstera Aurea. Before we go for that, it has some Branditianum. I can never remember how to say that. Philodendron brandy anyway in this little propagation jug, vase thing, which is fine. It's super pretty, super sparkly. We love this Philodendron, really nice. And very, very easy as well. The Aurea, it has some incredible roots at the moment. If I take it out, you can see really, really good roots. I'm gonna have to repot it soon, very soon. Look at that. But it is also doing a kind of one leaf, variegated one leaf knot. So this was the first one, this is the second one, this was the third one with that beautiful yellow, and this is the most recent one. But it's looking like it's gonna put out a new one pretty soon. I find with my Monstera, as soon as the previous petiole starts to bulge a little bit, then we're kind of ready to get a new leaf, which is exciting. So yeah, no worries with that one, very easy. I think I mentioned this in a previous video, I'm kind of trying to avoid cutting it for a while, see what it does, see if I can get it to catch up with my other Aurea while it's in here. So down at the front here, this is like, you will see this is literally, it's like Tetris. I think I have things piled up. But yeah, it's like I said, it's the best environment that I have at the moment. Or I don't know actually, my other greenhouse is good, but it's kind of equally full. So this is a Hoya croniana Eskimo, which is nice. Just got it as a cutting. It's got some nice aerial roots growing there. No new growth as yet, but super pretty. I love these splashy Hoya. Look at that, amazing. And again, just rooting in perlite. Perlite is not the permanent home for a lot of my Hoya, but it helps root them. Then right here, let's grab this. We have an Anthurium regale, which I grew from a stem cutting of my larger plant. So I cut it into 4, I think. And I have one other rooting in here, which has not done anything yet. And then I had 2 that I sold. So this is the last one that I have left, but I'm going to hang on to this one because it's super pretty. Really, really lovely Anthurium. Very pretty. Down here, we have Philodendron longilobatum. So that's the most recent leaf. It is very similar to like the golden dragon or the Philodendron camouflage. I think people call it that as well. But it has much thinner leaves and slightly more pronounced lobes. It's very pretty. It seems... I magically got hold of this for not so much, but I've seen one on eBay recently for over £1,000, which is a little bit obscene, but if someone's going to pay for it, then why not? Very nice aerial roots, really happy in here. It dries out so fast though, so I definitely need to water that again. Also because it's on top of the heat mat, so that will be a reason. Right here, let's just do this first one now. Again, dry. This heat mat is so good, but it dries everything out so fast. These are some Anthurium crystallinum seedlings with some Warocqueanum. So the larger ones here are crystallinum, and the smaller ones there are Warocqueanum. And I have one other pot of seedlings in here, and then the rest of them are elsewhere. But yeah, they're doing okay. I don't know if that yellowing is because they're old leaves or because it's too dry. So I'll definitely, it feels very dry there. So I'll definitely be watering that after this. Who have we got here? So this is, gripping onto that leaf, this is my variegated Billietier. Very nice variegation. This new leaf is pretty much half-half, very pretty. It kind of is getting these red patches, though I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if that's just too much light or something like that. But yeah, it's very nice. And on top of it, lost its drainage tray, that doesn't matter. On top of it, in a little glass and some perlite, I have one of my Belmarx Fantasy propagations, which took ages to root. This is one of the ones that I cut when I first got the plant, so it had loads and loads of stem underneath the potting medium. So I cut a load of that and tried to root a few of the nodes, and this is the only one so far that has leaves. The other ones are rooted, but they are not putting out leaves. So I'm happy with this. Yeah, just look, super nice, very pretty. Let's move that to the side and carry on. Sorry, this is going to be quite a long video. As you can see, there's a lot to get through, so feel free to skip around and see if there's anything else that you like. Let's move this drainage tray. Yeah, you can see sphagnum, leaves. This needs to be cleaned now. That will happen, don't worry. Little propagation jar. In here I have a, what is in here? Philodendron magnum, or that's what it's called anyway. That's what it was sold to me as. I don't know what it is. Actually, it's one of these ones from Equigenera. I think I bought it from a different seller, but I think they sourced it from there. So we don't really know what it is. And then there's a rooting Plougmanii, which is pretty much ready to come out of here really, because it's not really doing anything. It's reached the limits of water propagation, I think. Down here is... I just knocked over a Hoya, that's okay, we'll talk about that in a sec. So this is one of my slightly larger Belmarx Fantasy. There's kind of residue of mold from here, before I had the fan, but it's not really done anything since then, so I'm leaving it in here. Yeah, this is one of the other Belmarx Fantasy, the slightly larger, one of my larger plants, and it is just where I cut it, just got a new bit of growth through, so that's cool. Very pretty always. Is it going to focus? Yeah, look at that miniature leaf, so cute. Really nice plant, one of my favorites. This is the Hoya that I knocked over. It is a Hoya obovata amila, so it's supposed to have a sort of strip of variegation around the outside, a sort of pale lime green and then some splashing. You can kind of see it in this light, but it's definitely not as intense as it looked in the pictures. I don't know if this is just a particularly mild couple of leaves, I don't know. But we'll see if it comes, if more of it comes out in the next couple of leaves. Got some aerial roots, it's doing okay. So far no sign of growth, but very pretty. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, the tower, let's get into here. So this is two of my Philodendron ilsemanii cuttings. These two leaves were one cutting, which are getting a new leaf through there, and this was a separate cutting, which has no variegation on the leaf, but is getting a new leaf through there. And ilsemanii, I think, so this is, I feel like the variegation is much more similar to my Paraiso Verde, for example, in that it is not entirely dependent on what variegation there was in the previous leaf for there to be variegation afterwards. You'll see when I show you the other plant. But you can see in the stem here, is it going to focus? Probably not. But in the stem of this plant, there's like a lot, no, you can't see, stripes of variegation anyway, which haven't appeared in the leaf, so I don't know what that's about, but we'll see. Yeah, I just shifted this into perlite very recently to give it a little bit more chance to root. Very cool. Yeah, I really, really love that one. Let's talk about the other one since it's here. This is what I mean, because this plant, you can see this leaf is totally green, but it then put out a bunch of really highly variegated leaves, so I'm not really sure what that's about, but we'll see. Amazing aerial roots. Look how red the stem is when it comes through. Oh, it's literally not focusing, there's just so much more for it to look at. And there's a new leaf coming through there. The caterpillar's just open. Very, very exciting. Exciting plant indeed. So this is a Florida Beauty that's in semi-hydro. I just spilt one of my propagations as well. This is why I never take anything out of here, because it's like everything is leaning up on everything else, but I have to do it to clean it out. Yeah, this is one of the Florida Beauty propagations. Its new leaf is coming through there. It's got some amazing roots. Down in the pot, actually, which I just stuck in the water because I didn't know what else to do with it, is a variegated Rhaphidophora Hayi, which is doing okay. I'm sure it will. It's warm and it's sunny, light in here, so I'm sure it will do all right. Yeah, very, very, look at that leaf. It's amazing. Florida Beauties are always one of my faves. Really nice. Okay, let's move this to the side. Now the bottom is essentially swimming in water, but we can talk about this thing that I just knocked over. So in here is an Philodendron luxurians cutting. I probably could get a heavier vessel for this. Then there's a couple of Gigas, Gigas, I think it's Gigas actually, someone mentioned last time I did a video on these. And then there's a variegated Monstera spiperu, which is cute. Oh, also, this is actually I need to send to someone, so that's not great. Anyway, and this is a Philodendron verrucosum form. I think it's pseudoverrucosum, I'm not sure. Some of you might have seen the larger plant that I had a while ago. That has since sort of got root rot, and it just didn't really do very well, so I decided to cut it up, and this is the top cutting of it. The leaves really got small because it was so stressed, but I have the rest of it elsewhere, so we'll talk about that as we go through. Let's move this. Oh, I'm going to have to mop up the whole of the bottom of this thing. Right here we have, and I have to be careful here because I'm going to knock other things over for sure. We have Philodendron heterocraspidin, which is doing super well. Look how big that leaf is, it's amazing. Really, really textured, very, very patriciae-like. New cataphyll there coming through. Incredible roots. I've been so tempted multiple times to pot this on into something else, but it's just doing so well in perlite, in semi-hydro, so I'm just going to keep it in here. Really nice. The white markings on the leaves are just from spraying with foliar spray, but I don't really do that anymore. Lovely aerial roots if I ever did want to propagate it, but I'm going to leave it for a good long time. Look at these roots. All of those have formed just since I put it in here, which is cool. Moving on. So right here we have a couple of little things. We've got, this is the other regale, which you can't see anything, it's just a node in sphagnum, and this is an Amidrium zipillianum, which is just rooted, and that's its newest leaf. Very cute. Yeah, it's the one that kind of comes, turns into hand shape. Right here in this little Tupperware, I've got, this is the Monstera obliqua Peruvian form, so I won't take it out, but hopefully you can see in there, it's got a little shoot coming through. I'm just going to leave it alone because it's growing happily by itself. Yeah, so that's the Peruvian form Monstera obliqua that I traded recently, which is nice. Oh, look how much water's in the bottom. Here we have Hoya canosa Wilbur Graves, which isn't as splashy as others that I've seen, but it is still really, really pretty. Again, just rooting in perlite. This was an unrooted cutting when I got it, so I'm just giving it a bunch of time in here to get some roots, which are starting to form, I think. Yeah, you can see some lovely ones there. Good. Very happy it's doing really, really well. And I'm hoping it will give me some more splashy leaves soon. Very nice. Next to that we have, oh, there's a little mushroom, cute. Next to that we have Philodendron Florida Beauty. Let's see how it's doing. I haven't opened this in a little while. Well, in a couple of weeks. Can I do this one-handed? No. Yes, I can. So this is a Florida Beauty cutting, which is doing all right. Yeah, little growth point there, just in sphagnum. Staying super, super humid inside a little humus pot, and that's fine, so I'll close that again. And we'll move on to this beautiful Philodendron Majestic. So, oh, look at that new leaf, the red backing, incredible. This is loads of the verrucosum traits coming out here, but if I turn it around, you can really see the soliroid traits in this latest leaf. It's super nice. The stick is completely slanted, so I'm going to have to, when I repot it, get it into something else, and it also needs a bit of water. But it is just such a satisfying plant, and since I put it in this grow tent, it has absolutely exploded with growth. So I think this was the largest leaf when I put it in here, and immediately you can see the increase up to here, and this one now is going to be massive as well, much, much bigger, I think. Yeah, loads of aerial roots again. Look how red they are. Fantastic. Put that to the side and move on. Gigas, oh, I'm never going to say that right. Let's just say Gigas from now on if possible. Doing good. Some pretty big leaves actually. I was doing an experiment, I think I spoke about this before, where I was growing one inside this grow tent and one outside, and then I just cut the other one up because it kind of stopped growing. But this one's still doing really, really well. And I'm kind of expecting there to be some bigger leaves soon. This really isn't doing very much. So again, same as with the Majestic, I do need to change this support, but is it gripping on anywhere? No, not really. Still, this grow tent really does encourage some incredible aerial roots, which is very good. When it comes to propagating, okay, let's look here. This is Philodendron El Choco Red. So I had a large plant which I cut to, no, actually I traded the whole plant apart from 2 nodes for Philodendron Belmarx Fantasy, and this is one of the 2 nodes that I kept. So it was doing nothing for a long time, and then since I put it in here again, it's looking beautiful. It's such a lovely plant, even when it's tiny like this, and I'm sure that it will start maturing in no time, because the actual stem cutting was relatively chunky, so I'm sure that it will get back to some form of maturity soon. Yeah, good roots. Happy little plant. Fantastic. Next, this is the... Can you see the variegation there? It never shows up well on camera. This is the mini mint Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that I won from Plant That Plant a while ago now. And it's really not doing very much. It lost a leaf. I had to cut it back because the growth just came through completely green, and I want to kind of stimulate some variegation if possible. So I put it in here. I'm just going to have a look because I haven't looked for a while. See if the node has activated. No, it has not yet. There is still an active node there. So the node that this leaf is coming out of is still, it still has the potential to put out some growth, and it has really good roots. So I think I just have to give it time. But it is kind of frustrating because, yeah, it's not doing what I would like it to do yet. Cute. Ugh. Okay, continuing on. Absolute favourite. Like, just such a cool plant. This is Philodendron bicolor. This is kind of a nice opportunity to talk about this plant. I would love this to be more available in Europe, but it took me such a long time to find because it really isn't. And everyone who sells bicolor is selling something else, many different types of philodendron, generally no ID philodendron, which aren't bicolor. So I've been seeing a lot recently of this so the leaf that's coming from the plant that's coming from South America at the moment, they're selling as Philodendron bicolor, has much wider leaves, so they're kind of oval shaped rather than this long. Yeah, you can see the discoloration from the grow lights there. It's definitely not pests. That's from super bright lights. Yeah, so the leaf shape is much broader than these, and the backs is kind of an orange yellow, but you can see on these, the leaf backing is just such a vibrant red, like really strong. The petioles here, the back of the petiole, so the base is red and the top is green. So there's a really distinct line through there. And the leaves as they come through are just such a vibrant red. So if you see people selling bicolor, even quite immature forms, and they don't have that really powerful, like strong red color to them, then it probably isn't bicolor. But this is definitely one that I will be sharing around once it is grown, because it is such a cool plant. Look at that. Absolutely thriving in here. Apart from that, the initial impact of the too bright light, the leaves that it's put out since then have been beautiful. So we'll see how she does. This is Philodendron. Syngonium strawberry ice. Are the roots coming around yet? No. So this, look, it's running out of propagation stuff. I just stuck it in a bottle. A shaker. So strawberry ice, I cut this actually because it wasn't doing very well variegation wise. It's just put out the sort of pinky green leaves for the past like 5 or 6 I think. So I cut 2 nodes off the base, and I'm rooting one of those, and the other one is already rooted and is already actually putting out new growth, so that's good. But yeah, this is the top part of the plant, so I'm just going to keep growing it in perlite and see if it does anything. Yeah, it's not fully rooted, as you can tell. The root is very long, so it's going all the way down to the base, but it's not anchored enough yet to hold it. Probably needs a bit more water as well to kind of compact the perlite around there. But yeah, it's not my favourite, but I do like it still. More seedlings, so these are crystallinum, all of them, much smaller. I put these in here way after the other ones, so you can tell they have not had as much time in these great conditions to grow, but they're still doing super well. Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with all of these when they get big, because there are a load of them. Yeah, we'll see. Caramel marble. One of them's doing great. Loads of roots there. New growth point at last, because it took ages and ages. The other one, so the 2-leaf cutting, is not doing so well, but they're such beautiful leaves. I'd really like them to to do well. So these are the ones that aren't doing so well, and this one is the one that's fully rooted. But it doesn't matter. Like I'm not worried that there's not a huge amount of variegation in here. It's all about what's in the stem, and they're all from the same plant. So I'm sure it will continue even if these two do not make it. So that's okay. Okay, we're kind of reaching the back, so probably from here on out I will not take stuff out just because the space around me is getting very, very crowded. So we'll just look through what we have, and I'll leave it all in here. So this is a Hoya Nicholsonii grey New Guinea Ghost, sorry. So again, one of these really, really splashy ones. You can kind of see the contrast there between the normal leaf colour and the grey. Really nice aerial roots, a good amount of new growth, again just rooting in perlite because it came to me unrooted, but probably is not far off being potted up into some other kind of medium. Little Warocqueanum, so Queenanthurium, that I cut from my larger plant, which I no longer have. So I'm just going to keep growing this one out and see how it does. If it doesn't do super well, it's okay because I have all those little seedlings still. Yep. Behind it we have a UPI, Philodendron UPI, again in semi-hydro, nice little juicy aerial root coming out there, really pretty leaves. This one struggled, I've spoken about this before. It had root rot, like almost immediately after I got it, and just about now it's kind of, you can see the roots in there. It's doing good, so we're happy with that. Again, all of these plants just love these conditions. I need to thin stuff out because it's getting so crowded, but I also really don't want to because everything's enjoying it. Ansonii, this is the archipelago, and as you can see it is very, very white, but it's kind of doing that ghost thing where the leaves are coming through white and then they're gradually turning green. So this one was completely white when it came out, and you can kind of see the same thing happening with the others. Not sure what the deal is there, but super pretty, so I don't really mind. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I'll keep everyone updated. Again, we're not going to talk about the orchids for now. This is Patricii, so Philodendron Patricii. Lovely philo, just growing up that bamboo stick. Really beautiful. It took a long time to get established, but it's okay. It has a little bit of weird discoloration in this leaf that it had. So it had the same kind of thing in the first leaves that it had when it arrived with me, but then it disappeared and now it's suddenly come back. So I don't know if that's related to humidity or whatever. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this. Look at that root. That is an aerial root from my Rhaphidophora foraminifera, which you can see at the back there. I'm not going to take it out because it's finally happy. It took such a long time to find a spot that it enjoys, but obviously it is enjoying it, so that's really good. Little glass there with some Soliro ornatum there, and then this is some of the domesticum that I was talking about before, so 3 nodes there that I cut. Behind that is a Hoya Rinzii, is that right? Rinzii Borneo, I think so. And behind that is Hoya manipurensis variegated, which is doing okay. There's some new growth. I don't know if you can see, it might be a little bit far off. Can I get closer? Yes, there we go. Right here is Anthurium wendlingeri, which has got a new leaf coming through right there. Yes, very, very cute, very excited about that. Absolutely one of my favorite Anthurium. And right here we have the large Philodendron esmeraldense, which is the last one, I think. Oh no, there's a propagation thing in the corner with some more luxurians and some syngonium, some variegated syngonium. But yeah, that is essentially it. Oh, no it's not, I forgot to talk about this one. So this massive guy here is Philodendron splendid. Totally forgot, it's the biggest one in here. Huge, lovely plant, which started off as a little stick that I got from Indonesia. I spoke about this recently. And that new leaf that's come out is absolutely incredible. That's the biggest one yet. So happy with that. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is the little update on the grow tent. I'll do a proper review at some point in the future to talk about the grow light and like my final thoughts on it, but so far so good. I definitely recommend getting one of these. If you want to see updates on all of these plants, check out my Instagram at slugplants. I'll pop that right here. Subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up if you want to, and I'll see you very, very soon. Thank you, goodbye.